blue cane, 3 bombs, and we are already off. Let's see. The moon is crashing. Run for your life. I get that reference. Isn't that a reference to Twilight Princess, guys? Just kidding. Everyone knows it's Majora's Mask, even though I wanted to troll hard. 300 rupees right off of the bat. Well, at least we don't have to worry about Bottle Vendor.
Yeah, as it turns out, we start the game with a silver spoon. 300 rupees will be a big chunk of change towards that, and of course Zora potentially being an earlier check than normal.
That is true. And down the rabbit hole we go, and we're going to find our uncle. Apparently didn't make it too far for his life, and it's the opposite cane. We have the cane of Samaria right off the bat. That's cool.
And we're going to have some tactical use of magic meter here. We have to be very careful not to waste too many of these magic decanters, and we also need to kill as many enemies as possible using pots and anything else that will allow us to keep that magic for the required kills, which, you know, there's only so much for 1 meter to kill, say, the blue guard, there's the green guard, the ball and chain guard. There's a lot to kill with this.
There absolutely is, and fortunately, it doesn't take as much casting power as it does just a little bit of tact to figure out how to more effectively kill every enemy in that room. Fortunately, with these blocks, you can just lay them there and have an enemy run into them and let them die on their own idiocy, which is absolutely fantastic and very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Cathartic, if you've been nice and frustrated.
Catharsis is a better word.
Hey, we're already seeing those strats in effect. Both of our runners, I almost say characters, hello? Getting a big 20 for their efforts. Also, speaking of some unsung heroes, I want to give a shout out to the people that also made those custom sprites for the player characters. We have on one side the ball and chain guard. On the other hand, we have, clearly that's Charmander, right guys? No, just kidding, it's Squirtle.
Yeah, well actually I prefer to call it the best starter in Gen 1, but potato's a potato.
You're allowed to be wrong, but at the same time, this is not a game about Pokemon. This is definitely a game about Link to the Past. Although Squirtle was my favorite anyways.
To his credit, of course. The sunglasses, you can't beat it. And that's an unfortunate thing. I wish there was a version that had the sunglasses.
Same.
But, when we have the Ice Rod, we'll see the superiority of the type that we have in front of us here. But we have a couple different ways to deal with this ball and chain guard. Most people will throw pots, and this trapping in the corner is a great way to finish it off with Samaria.
And we got a small key right off the bat. That means we are 1 burrito away, aka 1 map away, from having nothing but items left in the escape sequence. However, they don't have the boots and they don't have bombs, so I don't know where they're going to think they're going to be able to get to the last 3 chests, but hopefully for them, they pick some up along the way.
Yeah, it's always really fun when you get it from like a chest in the back half of Escape or something like that. It feels really clutch, but getting a drop depends on how many enemies we kill in each prize pack. The individual enemy types share what were called prize packs, what you get from killing them, drops, so to speak. And they share them with certain other enemies. That's set, just like in vanilla, it's the same actual groups of enemies, but their contents, what they give you, is randomized, and it's a 50-50 chance for most enemies that they'll drop anything at all.
I wish I could further comment on that, but no, that was pretty accurate. And I couldn't think of a good Pokemon joke in the meantime. But nonetheless, here we are nearing the end of the escape sequence. So far, Furaime is going in. Also, Furaime, known as Herfy Durfy's favorite girl, but wants to let us know that don't listen to chat. They are actually not. And they are... Did they say they were a boy, or did they just say they are not a girl?
Rather not comment, I don't know myself.
No, if you look in the bio thing, that's literally what it says.
Well, and we are on the internet, right? All right, that's an really outdated meme.
I see what you did there, but I was actually just more referring to in-jokes related to that. The bio that they all sent in, rather. Anyways, nonetheless, we have the map, so without 3 bombs, we are now going to see, well, the rest of the escape sequence. Oh, but we are seeing some farming being done on those rats, hoping to pick up any chance of a bomb drop. That would be absolutely fantastic.
And you know, Furaime doing really nice extermination of these rats. I mean, like, making the most out of the Samari here. Just not getting very lucky.
Indeed. It would have been amazing if we had seen a bat drop a bomb, but nonetheless.
And if I recall
Sometimes you
correctly,
can't get
they
that
don't drop
clutch.
anything at all in the escape.
I don't think they do, indeed. Oof. Furaime just getting no bout of luck. And so far, HexMage getting an equal amount of that luck. Not fun.
So it's possible that there are bombs in these prize packs, just very far into them, and they didn't get that many drops. Or there's just none in these particular enemies prize packs. Kind of rare, but it's possible.
And at approximately 6:08, Furaime got through the escape sequence, picked up a piece of heart. And our first map check, we have green pendant at Hera and 2 crystals at Eastern and Desert.
Well, it's an interesting configuration. Now, we don't have much of anything to really explore the world with yet. We do have the cape, though. That could potentially, at some point, if we have a sword later, lead us to a certain boss. But hey, bombs for tier 2 tree pole. That's pretty nice.
That is pretty nice, although albeit a little too late to get those 3 items in the back of escape at the moment. Meanwhile, we're seeing something not as commonly seen at this part of the bracket. We're seeing an early lumberjack check. And it's a big 20. Would
Yeah,
you
so
say
I mean,
that's your
if we end
playing piece away? Yes, I would. Thank you, the RC. Yes, I would.
And of course, if we end up finding our way past Aghanim anyway, then HexMage is likely to gain that time back up on Furaime.
That is very true.
Well, that's rather vanilla to find here. Piece of heart, and every little bit of health right now pretty valuable. They don't have enough to fill a heart container, but pretty soon they need to have a little bit more than 3. In fact, they may be feeling the love. They both have less than 3.
Oh, I see what you did there, and I like it.
Would you wager that you love it?
Nah, I do like it, though.
Fair enough. Speaking of hearts, actually, interesting thing you might notice about the randomizer, there are actually some colorblind features. Apparently, there are some people out there, I've never even heard of it before I'd found out about this feature in the game, that have a red-black, colorblindness. I didn't know about that particular kind, but so you can actually choose between blue, red, and green hearts if you'd like to, and I thought that was really neat. Shoutouts to the devs for putting that in.
And we got water toads right off the bat. One of the only items of any use in the Blind's Hut so far. And checking the back, and it's another big 20. Wow, so many vanilla big 20s in this area.
Yeah, there are, I think there's either 20 or 28 of them. I want to say 20 big 20s because that's appropriate, but we're gonna find them peppered throughout.
I think you're right with 28, or at least it's on the higher end of the 20s.
Personally, for me, it feels like 500.
Oh, it always feels like infinite. Don't worry, I get you. Indeed, Squirtle did learn surf. And we finished that piece of heart. We already got 4 of them and a bomb upgrade. Hooray. Something that all of us need. And we got the balloon cane. Blue cane, not balloon cane.
Although that would be so amazing.
That would be amazing.
Like, I mean, we don't have a jump ability in this game. Obviously, there's Rock's Feather and different titles, but, I mean, that'd be...
Oh, we got the lamp this early on? That's
Model
a little
Vendor's
foreboding.
Thank you for that.
No
we have
problem.
a chance at a chicken clip here, though.
Yo, chicken clip, let's go. Or Invisi-Chicken. I'll accept Wall Chicken. And what are those? We got the boots right off the bat.
Well, at 10 minutes into this, the run can finally start.
Oh my god, I can't. I am only upset because I didn't come up with that first.
The sad thing is I've done that way too many times.
Oh, that was a good one, though. I like that.
Thank you. But yeah, we have the ability to run really fast now, so this is going to really enhance our early world overworld checks, and it might influence the way that we decide to go to one dungeon over the other. Potentially even talking about Ice Rod Cave as well as Aegina's Cave for the overworld locations.
And what is in the library? Oh, it's the gloves! Immediately, Furaime goes, wait a second, nope, going right back in.
Yeah, muscle memory, not used to skipping, or not used to being able to get this in the first 10 minutes.
HexMage forgetting that they have to bonk the library stack. The bookshelf. Library stack. Wow, that's
I don't think you were wrong though. I mean, I think they're called stacks in some places.
Oh, stacks upon stacks upon stacks upon stacks. And
stacks and racks.
Furaime going for those 10 arrows. HexMage making the smarter call, not bothering with the race game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have the bow yet, and you're very likely to find some arrow drops.
Surprisingly, we're seeing HexMage go to the back of the escape sequence, going to finish that out. Not a bad call. Furaime foregoing those 3 items and heading immediately up to Death Mountain? Nope, going for the bonk rocks. Very nice. And we got the bow, the mirror, and our first sword. Well, that says Death Mountain.
If only we had a bomb drop in the escape. I mean, oh my goodness.
Wait, Death Mountain? No, that definitely says Desert Palace first. You have the bow. You can complete desert. Eastern, not desert. Wow. Just let me get all of the names wrong.
Yo, so chat's a little excited about this. It's kind of fun to have the slight delay because, we get to see this stuff happen unfold on screen, and then we get to watch you guys, freak out about it.
So, confirmed back of escape, secretly Jet's hideout.
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly where Jet was hiding all the important items in the seed. And just to kind of answer some concerns in chat, there's some weirdness with the tracker at the moment. Don't worry about it. Demon's on it. He'll update that as we're able to.
Yep, we can confirm Tracker is not asleep.
Tracker is probably freaking out as much as you guys are. I mean, oh my goodness, that was so crazy. Ooh, Squirtle gets the best meringue.
I agreed. Finally, an opinion we can agree upon. Best meringue.
There's a select few out there who value.
Are we gonna see Candace Samaria strats? No. We're seeing
was there, but 360 no-scope Bomberman strats?
Almost. There's nothing more satisfying. Oh, wait, he didn't have magic. That's why we didn't see Candace Samaria strats.
Some pretty sick bomb tosses, though.
Yeah, they were. Master Sword. Uh-oh. All of this is looking kind of foreboding. Fisher Price, my first shield, and the red meringue.
Well, we're not going to save any frames of that last chest, unfortunately losing both the opening animation of that chest and the disappointment that immediately followed it.
In defense of red meringue, it is a fun boomerang for Aga Tower's swag strats.
Oh, absolutely. There's some really funny places that you can use it that are just, useful. Like Tower of Hera, there's Gauntlet in Ganon's Tower. Although if you get good at the boomerang strats, it is faster.
Yeah, it is indeed faster.
But yeah, you can hit things from pretty long distance with a magic boomerang.
And we have Ether in Ice Palace. Ice Palace? Ice Rod Cave. Wow, I really do need coffee. My God.
Hey, I mean, thematically, you weren't that far off.
Yeah, I did see ice, and it was a small enclosed room, and that's where my brain went to.
But Squirtle over here by Furaime, definitely not hanging out there for too long. Ooh, setting up a water walk actually by dashing alongside that gap and then jumping vertically north-south. Actually, maybe didn't get it.
I wouldn't be able to tell you myself because I've yet to set up that water walk.
Oh yeah, we wanted to go around here because if we jumped off that waterfall, we'd lose that.
Ah, I see.
So this will be a much faster check for Furaime over HexMage. Wow, and look at the visual difference. Pretty much catching up to HexMage right then and there. So we have a fairy in a bottle at this point from the dam, so we do have the opportunity to go back to Kakariko at some point to check the sick kid now.
And watch the
let's see
sick
how
kid
you
have
got-
something like the hammer or hook shot at this point.
Which would be pretty interesting. You know, where does that send us?
True.
We do have Waterfall Cave, and of course, if we find a little more money, I actually thought we'd have 500 rupees by now, but if we find more cash, we could do Zora.
That's not a bad idea. And blue mail confirmed. Squirtle pretty much just getting a slightly bluer shade of blue for the shell. And HexMage finally getting that nice... I was going to say neodymium, but that's not the one. Blue hue to the armor. And after a small confirmation there's a big 20 up there, they both said, you know what, forget that. HexMage heading over to check likely Eastern Palace / Sarashala's hut / Sahasrala's hut / Sriracha.
That's the
Let's
harsh
just call him Big Jeffrey. Going over to Big Jeffrey's hut to check the garage, and Furaime is heading immediately up to Death Mountain.
Well, he is, after all, a cowboy. I mean, have you seen his hat?
You're right. You're right.
Well, I mean, you're about to see it now.
And now we got the screaming cowboy, Big Jeffrey, in the back.
What is Jeffrey hoarding today?
A piece of heart, a bomb upgrade, and 300 rupees. Looks like he just took his illicit use of things stash.
I mean, he's got a lot of money back there, and, you know, to not put it in a bank, awful suspicious. Gonna have to invoke some fintech
It was
law.
probably bribe money, so the statues didn't rat him out.
You know, they seem motionless until you approach them, and maybe that's because you took that bribe money.
Maybe.
But we're gonna go into Eastern.
Meanwhile, not a whole lot coming from the old man.
I gotta
Oh,
notice that Furaime, you just used agility here.
Yes, he did. And we have our third sword on top of Spectacle Rock. And we got money inside of Spectacle Rock, so we're probably going to be skipping that.
Well, it's pretty awesome to have the Mire here. Getting that Tempered Sword so early actually makes every boss that we haven't done any bosses yet, so every boss is much better. We got Dark map check. I saw pendants at
wait.
Turtle Rock and
Hold
House of
on.
Darkness.
It is. Okay, so Dark World Squirtle without the Moon Pearl is Squirtle with glasses, confirmed. Best sprite.
Which at this point, until we find that Moon Pearl, you know, we're not going to see the Dark World too much. So I'm kind of hoping we hit a bunch of bunny beams. Sorry, Furaime. That sprite's just too cool.
Item 1 of 3 in Eastern Palace is a bomb upgrade. Unless I missed... Well, oh, hey, there's the Moon Pearl. That is the second race in a row I've commentated where Moon Pearl was in Tower of Hera. Is the seed even randomized?
Well, it's French randomized, or French vanilla at least.
French vanilla. French vanilla is best vanilla, though.
I'm hard pressed to disagree there. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
I see what you did there, and gotta say, that was very cold stone of you.
Ouch, ouch. I can't re-raise on that pun. I'm gonna defer to your superior punnery.
I also see what you did there. Also, speaking of sitting there and waiting, we do have Furaime taking a coffee break. Feel free to read the book that you want of your choice, like War and Peace. Just kidding, it's already over with.
You know, that's a awful short book to be reading during that time.
Yeah, you might have to read it twice and then read it backwards for posterity.
Well, hey, I mean, that's Stephen King for you. But we have our big key, so we're ready to head back up to the top of the tower and show that moldy worm what for.
That burger snake is definitely going to get a what for.
Oh, Link Between Worlds version is so good.
And it's a compass. HexMage going for the early crystal lead. Furaime going for the... appears like it's going to be the hearts at the top of the tower right before you fight Moldorm. And that is item number 2. That's item number 2. Furaime just has to go and fight Moldorm. And Moldorm's going to drop yet another dungeon item.
Yeah, so definitely worthwhile to come up here and smash on them. I imagine you're either using your Tempered Sword or a hammer. I mean, hammer for style, but Tempered Sword does the same damage, so I don't blame Furaime for doing that. It should be 3 hits here, and we're all set with no enrage phase. Meanwhile, we're going to get the vanilla strategy here, or the NMG strat for Armos Knights. Not sure which method HexMage is going to use. There's a couple different setups that are pretty reliable. Getting a very narrowly hitting those 2 Igors. Alright, so that's a slight mess up there, but we just need to pump 3 arrows into each of them, and the recovery's not too bad. HexMage obviously having done this fight enough times.
Absolutely. So this does leave us at an interesting quandary. There wasn't really that much in Eastern Palace, but that does give Furaime the advantage of the Moon Pearl. So at this point, you have to wonder after... Oh, shoutouts to traffic. You have to wonder at this point if HexMage is going to further advance through the dungeon, or if they're going to peace out the moment they grab the Moon Pearl. Right now, considering that they have a hammer, it's entirely possible that they still need to go and fight Ganon.
Wait, did I mess that up before? I don't see hammer on tracker, and maybe that's just like a delayed thing, but did I say they had hammer?
No, I don't believe so. And I don't... And in case I accidentally implied it, I do not mean to imply that they have the hammer.
I just got like really confused for a second there. I'm like, wait a second, I don't remember seeing that.
Nope. So according to chat's reaction, I must have said something like that. So yeah, wow, my bad. Yeah.
Well, I think I did that first, so I was like, wait a second.
Okay.
All right, so confirmed, folks. No hammer. Just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page about that. But that is something important for our runners to find. When they do find the hammer, that's going to do a lot for them in the Dark World. We know that the Moon Pearl is in the first floor of Tower of Hera, and we have every reason to go up there, you know, long before we're going to the Dark World. I'm wondering where we're going to find this hammer today.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be in Village of Outcasts. I'm also thinking right now that there's probably an item in Desert that they're going to want to get. Hopefully, the game will be nice and it'll be in Agina's cave.
That would be an amazing place to find it. You know, it's always nice when it's convenient, like on Death Mountain, you know, because it's right where you need to be. But people tend to avoid, you know, decisions that are like that in case they end up being, you know, time sinks. So you find it in a place like Agina's, and you're probably not wasting time on other checks having to go back there. Usually you're getting other things done sequentially after that.
So, we know Turtle Rock, Palace of Darkness, and Tower of Hera are pendants. This means the hammer, the Moon Pearl, Red Cane, Fire Rod, Ice Rod, And whatever medallion is needed for Turtle Rock, as well as both glove upgrades, cannot be on the pedestal. And of course, Hammer also cannot be on the pedestal.
Although hearing it in chat right now could potentially be at Zora, which we did not have the monies or the funds for at the time.
That is entirely possible.
It always seems to be something of annoyance at Zora's when you want to go there and can't finish it right when you're there.
True. Hookshot on pedestal is technically possible. How likely? Don't know.
Yeah, a lot of items remain to be seen first. Until we even know how we're accessing the Dark World properly, we won't even be able to find that out.
And HexMage going through and continuing the rest of the tower just in case. Or at least until they find the second item. Meanwhile, Furaime going and following HexMage's footsteps and clearing through the rest of Palace, or Eastern Palace. I almost called it Palace of Darkness because, of course, I did.
You could call it Palace of Armos.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We're getting bottom right strats for Furaime here. So we saw two different boss kill strategies here. You're seeing him delay the actual rotation of the Armos. Because if they won't actually start rotating around the room until they reach the resting position. You usually see that for Ice Armos, but it works perfectly fine here as well.
Certainly not a bad tactic. And that is technically a dungeon lead for Furaime, but equal crystal lead. Or they're both equal in crystals, rather. And where does one go from here, Furaime? We're about to find out.
Yeah, it has some decisions to make heading eastwards.
Interesting.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
Are we going to be seeing a Zora check? Yes, we are.
I see. This is actually faster than walking the other way. Yep. Even with boots.
That does make a lot of sense.
And of course, we still have the cash, the funds that we need to open up Palace of Darkness. So, no point in not doing this. You have more than enough cash.
Normally, you see this comboed or combined with Catfish in routing, but in this specific case, without really any major Dark World access, it's not a bad play, considering this is one of the few things you currently have left before you're out of ideas.
I'm a big fan of being the person who gambles on Catfish on your way over here, but Quiver upgrade, that is not what we want to spend 500 on.
No, certainly not.
Also, that was a pretty big one-off for Furaime to check, and I have to imagine HexMage will at some point. But if HexMage waits to do so with Catfish, and if Catfish has something of value, I mean, that could be really nice boon to routing. But is Furaime heading up to Aghanim?
That looks like it's currently the plan. Whether or not this is going to be a good idea, we're going to find out. Hey, wait a second. Did Furaime ever bring the green pendant to Sahasrahla?
I don't believe so.
That's... Oh, he did? Okay. I'm getting confirmation from our tracker that he did, and I just happened to have missed it.
Well, am I glad today for Demon's Druid. Shout out to our tracker, Demon's Druid, doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely, thank you. Without you, we would be anything... let's just say it would be a pile of spaghetti.
Oh, it was Sankart. Oh, I missed so much hype. I'm so sorry, chat.
Sankart at this point is not really that much hype. It's kind of more like, dang, disappointment.
Yeah, but I mean, if you know it's Sankart, I mean, that's the real thrill for me, is the fact that I had been playing dangerously enough that I could find out that it really was Sankart. HexMage feeling like a champion, I'm sure. Also, we have the Aghanim play, and this is actually surprisingly reminiscent of an NMG run in its own timing. Right around 30 minutes is when a lot of folks would be right around here. So,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
interesting coincidence. We have some more kind of NMG style rooms coming up ahead. Furaime using some pretty standard circle of pots room strats, but having bad RNG with that red guard. And HexMage here is going to serve up Din Din, making sure that these gold guards get their their just desserts.
Oh my god, that was a 2-hit combo I was not expecting.
It's all about the jab cross.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And we're about to find out that our princess is in another crystal.
So for those playing the home game, yes, we have not checked Sick Kid. Sahasrara has been checked in one area. No one has checked Agina.
Also, chat's already starting to guess on blue balls here. How many do you think we're going to see today, Glenty?
2.
Well, there's one of them already, so coin flips, you're hopefully voting in favor of Furaime here. I like that. I'm expecting 3.
I'm also going for the innuendo. I could be going full Krogan and going 4, but this isn't Mass Effect.
I really like where you went with that one. All right, so we do have to be a touch careful on how our references go, of course. We don't want anybody thinking that, it's like a kick in the quad or anything.
I guess you could say 2 more, and we've had a quad jokes that are very dad tier.
Quadfecta is a thing here on Speed Gaming. Thanks for tuning in, folks, by the way. We've also been mentioning things that we haven't seen the runners do, like Sick Kid and Agina's. Very curious that they commit to Aghanim with boots on the table. I mean, I guess it's if you don't have flute, it does take some time to get to desert, but we don't even know what's on the desert ledge, which is also of interest.
We also don't know what's on the pyramid, and survey says, "Show me potato salad." Oh, it's a bee in a bottle. Get wrecked.
Yeah, B-Torp confirmed, but Furaime, not all about that. Maybe not liking the B-drill in this particular situation.
So everyone's arguing different numbers of how many blue balls we ended up getting, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just going to say yes.
I counted 4 puns, and that's where I stopped. Sorry, folks.
Unfortunately, that was apparently only 15. We need 1 more before it's a quad. Oh, look, it's everyone's favorite extortionist and Hyrule's worst delivery service, Kiki.
Yeah, you can try to give him hazard pay for 10 rupees, but he will just run off on you if you take even the slightest bit of damage.
Yup. And are we going the bow route? Do we get a key or do we get an item? And it's the big key. Ooh, plot twist.
In the meantime, going to the right side, it looks like, despite having that key, well, it was a big key, it has to go right side, it's bow locked. But we have the bow, so no problems here. Don't even have to use any kind of potion for any camera manipulation glitch here. We're just going to check these 2 chests. Now, if it doesn't have hammer, we're going to have to mirror back out, though.
That is true. But at least mirroring is relatively easy in this set. Because at that point, you're going to likely have a key, and you can just go up the straight vanilla route. HexMage giving us our red and... Oh, that's interesting. Swamp and Thieves are 5 and 6? Not Swamp. Skull Woods and Thieves are 5 and 6, respectively. That's an interesting placement.
Yeah, if we find that fire
HexMage.
rod, that's gonna be pretty easy to do.
HexMage picking up the bottle, saying praise be to B-Torp.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, the man hosts our dreams and all of these legends that we see in this tournament. So, I mean, without him, you wouldn't have this randomizer website in the first place.
Or as cross product would say, glory be.
I see what was being done there.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you like jazz?
Do I like jazz? Absolutely. Why?
Good, that's the right answer. Nonetheless.
We might not be popular for that one.
We got another key. We're going to see what's in the back of Palace of Darkness, or as Dr. Bob Tastic used to like to call it, Mullet Mansion, because there was a lot of key focus in the front, or a lot of business in the front, and all the items where the party was in the back.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Bob Tastic as well. Great guy, fun to commentate with. Yeah, you guys should check out his other commentaries. He's done some pretty funny stuff.
And Furaime, as you see, is setting up the pause technique for getting the right frame for the bomb jump, for the hammer.
Yeah, the hammer jump's a really fun, bomb clip. You actually do a bomb clip and a bomb jump at the same time. Or not bomb clip, but a bomb jump into a rail clip. You have to do two Y-perfect coordinates for both Link or Squirtle in this particular scenario. And in the bomb itself, in order to clip sideways through a railing. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and did I mention the bridge is collapsing too?
And there it is, the hammer in Palace of Darkness. Is this even randomized? What the heck is going on here? We got Moon Pearl. We got Moon Pearl in Tower of Hera. Hammer at Palace of Darkness. What next? Hook shot and swamp?
Do you think the French restream that just because we just had our first French restream the other day, do you think they make the joke that it's like English vanilla when this happens?
I hope so.
But French vanilla it is.
I mean, at least we know, oh, hey, it's the Swagnet. We can at least guarantee it won't be known as American vanilla, because that would just be butter.
Fair enough. I can't dispute that. Everything's better. Well, at least marginally so.
Ooh, I can't believe that wasn't a pun.
Believe it, actually. But so, Palace of Darkness, we found the most important thing, which is, our vanilla dungeon item. But, oh gosh, our tracker also is feeding us some puns behind the scenes, so I can't take credit for this one. But I mean, as far as butter, it could be on a bun.
Dad joke counter 22, thank you. We got people in chat also counting all the dad jokes. Happy Father's Day to you out there that have, kids or dads.
Absolutely echo that sentiment. However, as far as this game goes, possibly as old as some of the internet's dads. Oh my goodness.
You are correct.
Scary thoughts. This game originally released in 89, I believe, in Japan. It could have been 88, I think, but 91, the international release. My date of birth, actually.
I forgot it was that. Wow. Huh, that is kind of terrifying.
And this game's held up really well. You see all the updates that we have for Randomizer, which are mostly sprites and, stuff in the background, but we are looking at mostly the original game here. Also, HexMage with very few pause buffers for his hammer jump, very expertly performed there. And for Helmasaur King here, Furaime's opting for the more difficult hammer strats, interspersed with his tempered swipes. That was actually really impressive to see as well.
Yeah, that was a 1-2 combo, and there's the fire rod! And the blue pendant. Confirmed pendant dungeons needed to at least get certain items on French Vanilla Seed. What is this madness? Well, that definitely opens up Skull Woods. That opens up... Yep, Skull Woods.
I mean, that's definitely something you got to consider. I mean, and that's the thing for folks out there who have played previous versions of this randomizer. That used to be a really popular place in races to check, seemingly always having some kind of progression despite only having 2 items. So it becomes much more, popular to do that check when you have the fire rod and can complete Mothula anyway. But that's not necessarily how the logic works in version 29. Sometimes it's a bit of a dud. Also, apparently I was wrong about the release dates. There's 91 in Japan, 92 internationally.
Oh, okay, thank goodness. And Resident Sleeper Cave sure turned out to be that. Oh, no. HexMage decided to not go any further.
Well, so that's unfortunate. I mean, we didn't take off or take care of the health. Why would we not do that? Maybe low on health.
Honestly, at this point, they might be gambling. Why would I go and fight Helmasaur? Sure, it's 1 item, but watch it be 20 rupees, and they might be feeling behind.
Yeah, it's a possibility. We're almost 42 minutes into this race, and, only so much has been done in Crystal Dungeons at this point.
This seed is turning out a lot like version 26, and in version 26, oh, and there are the Titan mitts with Old Stumpy. Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss Bombos in Resident Sleeper Cave. Okay, I will at least give it that.
So, I mean, it's a more explosive cave than anything.
It's Firecracker Cave.
It could be a serial name cave.
Oh, looks like we're heading over to Alec Baldwin to dig up his yard.
I can't unsee that. It's kind of like Aghanims' crown not being his face.
Yeah. Oh my god, silver arrows. That's convenient.
Well, silver as they may be, they appear to be untarnished.
Yeah, you'd think being in the ground they would at least not be as pristine.
Oh, you know what? Actually, they are actually covered in dirt. That explains all the lag frames.
Oh, gotcha. For those not getting the reference of Alec Baldwin in the movie Beetlejuice had a character that eventually ended up looking a lot like the person at the digging game.
So fun thing that you're seeing Furaime do there with the hammer. It's called an item dash. If you haven't seen this randomizer before, or haven't seen that speed tech, all you have to do is, if you're playing on Japanese 1.0 version of the game, which the randomizer is based on, you hit the item and the dash button at the same time to initiate a dash with the item's effects. Depending on what the item is, it does different stuff. It doesn't always do anything useful, but in a lot of situations, you can, say, hit hammer pegs in sequence and do it really quick.
What's also fun is you can do that with all sorts of items. It's really fun to do with things like the hammer, sure, but have you ever tried it with the shovel?
It's amazing. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it only counts the last square that you dig as a potential item location, like for trying to dig up drops.
Yep. So it's definitely a gamble if you end up being in any place that you're digging for something. Because if you dig over, say, a very important spot, you're going to need to rather leave the area and come back for it to reset.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that to the flute.
And it looks like we're going for a powder glitch.
Yeah, no holds barred here. We're going to check any sequence break that's immediately obvious to us, and Furaime having just done that, I believe.
You are correct.
What I love about that bat, though, is, if you think about it vanilla style, is very much, Furaime got the fence dash, but stopped in the middle of it. Oh, that was so sweet. That's a more of an NMG thing, really. You don't normally go to C-shaped house after Smith this way. But so with the bat, it kind of reminds me of Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, where that chest tries to quote unquote curse you.
Yes.
Because you get cursed with half magic.
Yep. I mean, both of those were Nintendo games, so I'm pretty sure it's basically the same character in a different trope.
Ooh, cursed. With that though, we have Thieves Town on the table. With Fire Rod for Furaime, may opt to go to Skull Woods, mostly for item locations. I mean, Skull Woods is a crystal completable.
Sick Kid though, what's Sick Kid gonna give us? Of course, it's a big 20 after all of that.
Yeah, that was his money for his meds, so he's gonna remain sick, unfortunately.
I mean, Hyrulean healthcare system, you know how horrible that works out.
Absolutely. I mean, look what happened to the king.
Exactly.
Shout out to those who actually have watched the intro cutscene to this game. HexMage, possibly a little intimidated by the fence dash, opting to go around to the Bombable Hut first.
And first chest over in Thieves Town is ?
Pending. Hold. Compass.
Nope, that was the second one. We still have no idea about the first one.
Oh, did we have a stutter at that point?
Yep.
Well, we will find out shortly thereafter. I'm sure HexMage will check that, but making sure to hit that sick kid first. Stealing his lunch money and his prescription money. It's raining big 20s in the seed right now.
Yeah, there's the big key.
Yeah, so there's 4 chests in the front half of Thieves Town. One of them will always be the big key. The other 3 have a chance to be a random dungeon item, of course, or the random item in the pool of items that we can get from each individual dungeon. So Furaime has checked all 4, going to head to the back half and presumably finish everything in here.
For those playing the home game, right now what we have is a bunch of items have been found in places that usually aren't expected, with the exception of a few. And if you want to call someone in a lead, you can consider it Furaime, but even then, that's kind of not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, it's always a relative thing. Sometimes when you don't have an item early on that's important, you end up making decisions that are based on restricted logic that actually point you to where you need to be anyway. And if that happens, HexMage could absolutely come back from this, Fire Rod deficit and emerge actually ahead in the grand scheme of things. So for the time being, until we know where the rest of the world is or what's going on in the rest of the world, you could say it's time neutral at the moment. We know that double dipping into Palace of Darkness is the extent of the time loss for HexMage so far.
As we know, that is going to definitely cause some issues for HexMage in the event that we don't see him going into Palace of Darkness. He could go into Ice Palace and use Bombos, but that would be a significant time difference. However, would that be as much of a time difference as fighting Helmasaur? You'd probably be better off getting the Fire Rod at that point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, definitely something he should be doing just for completion's sake, if nothing else. However, we will find out if Skull Woods has something of significance behind that Fire Rod. If not, then...
I mean, it has a crystal, that's the problem.
Oh, no, I mean like an item that would progress us to other places.
Ah, I see. Well, it is also crystal number 5, so if there's anything in the pyramid, HexMage will be in a whole world of hurt.
And so what we're likely going to see in the rest of this race is, Furaime checking these locations that are locked behind the Fire Rod, and we'll find out in real time, whether or not HexMage is going to be punished for skipping Helmasaur, or if it becomes relatively benign as he ends up, possibly finding it at a convenient time anyway. Like, it's randomizer, anything can happen in that regard. Really nice blind fight from Furaime, though. That was about as close to optimal as it gets.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth, in all things considered.
Also, apparently, we have reached 25 in the dad joke counter. We need to step up our game.
We'll get there.
I was trying to think of one like to some insurance jingle, like a good neighbor or something like that, but there's just no immediate thing that came to mind. So I'll let you guys imagine in your minds that there's a pun. I'm sure your puns would be funnier than mine would have been anyway.
Like a good neighbor, stay off my lawn.
There you go. Actually, isn't there a text box that we get from somebody as a Ganon?
I mean, we get all sorts of text box from Ganon.
No, I feel like somebody says "stay off my lawn" in one of the randomizer text seeds.
Oh, it's entirely possible. I just have no idea.
Perhaps chat knows. I just it's sticking out in my mind. But here's hoping that HexMage has a blind fight just as good as Furaime's, because that would be the ideal scenario here. Is minimal damage. Well, it's a little off script already.
HexMage having a little bit of a tough time with the hassle. Oh, he's got to be... Oh, wow. That slash at the last second was some lucky hitbox. Because that could have definitely gone the wrong way.
Yeah, that was some very close spacing with that, slash as well, because that is the very tip of the hitbox, and, you take 2 hearts of damage when you bump into blind. I think it's reduced with blue mail, but either way, that was definitely, a death situation he was looking at.
Instead of dealing with the Gibdos, Furaime just goes around everything to use the fire rod. Not a bad call, although with silvers, they do take 1 hit. Then again, when you feel that behind...
Well, here comes our Mothula fight. Tempered's a pretty good weapon to have here.
Yep, Mothula, or as I like to call it, the flying Easter Island Moai statue.
Interesting. I like it. But not going to be around for long. Squirtle's not a cool guy. He didn't even look at the explosion there.
Nope. And another crystal down. Looks like we now have the Pyramid Fairy.
So yeah, that's definitely on the table at this point. HexMage is in Skullwoods, but won't be able to check the back half here at all. Furaime's still looking for that other item.
And if I'm correct, Furaime doesn't have the big key.
And of course, that would lead him back to the big chest. We didn't see there, I don't believe, if that was the big key, but it sure seems like it. Otherwise, you could, save and quit or leave by any other number of ways. We could potentially be doing a bumper cave check soon.
Yep, that is on the docket. We do have the cape. We've had the cape since early on. So right now, we absolutely need Ice Rod, Hook Shot, and the Flute. And it looks like Furaime got that second item. Furaime actually going with the more efficient routing system, where he skips the beginning half and then goes straight to the crystal portion and then goes all the way back. Oh, we don't need Ice Rod. That's right. Turtle Rock's a pendant dungeon.
And also of note here, we do have 50 rupees on the cave, or on the ledge for, what's the word I'm thinking of? Bumper cave. And that's going to be untouched for the rest of this race. But we can also do north side checks here, and it looks like both of our runners will be checking both the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb. I'm not sure if they checked that already.
I do not believe either of them have checked. I think they did not have Dark World access at that time. And there's the book.
Well, what is this, Fahrenheit 451? We gotta hide them in caves?
I mean, considering how hot of a topic reading is, especially nowadays, it's good to kind of hide them so they don't burn.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're absolutely heating up to find these tablets at this point. Pedestal's checkable, but unfortunately, we did just leave Skullwood, so not a lot of incentive to be doing that at this point. But, you know, if they read up on, you know, their Hylian, they could potentially still find some value in looking at it after this race.
Yep, until then, it's just basically a game of hot and cold.
Gonna echo a pun shared by our tracker. Gotta read the prescriptions for those tablets. Shout out to Demon's Druid, that was a pretty good one.
That is really good.
So I believe King's Tomb there was a bust.
King's Tomb was definitely a bust. It only had 3 bombs.
It was a combustion, actually.
I mean, they didn't go off, so there was no explosive material to have been ignited. So I'd say, if anything, it was a dud.
Fair enough, fair enough. But we will turn in some illicit substances to this relatively older female person in Hyrule. This will lead us to some kind of item in here. Let's see what we get.
Show me potato salad. Oh, it's a piece of heart. And Squirrel now reading a book. Or should I say, Squirtle took a look, because the answer was in a book, reading Rainbow.
I like it. The more you know. And unfortunately, I feel like that's a missed opportunity to put regular reading glasses on Squirtle so that we can get a mix of those 3 different states. Definitely something I want to see in the future, personally. Well, is Catfish going to be Cashfish today? What do you think?
I'm thinking Catfish is going to pretend to be a nondescript country of choice's royalty and tell you it has a lot of money to give you. It just needs your bank account information.
Ah, yes. So from across the internet, Scam Strats going to give us a full heart container. So that's actually
even worse. It was an email order bride.
Yeah, you saw that bounce over the waves there.
Yup.
Well, we've already been
HexMage going
to
up
Zora,
and,
right?
I don't think HexMage went to Zora. I think Furaime went to Zora. And now he's routing that around. He's going to be horribly disappointed in a moment, as per what should be expected from Hyrule's biggest scam artist.
Yeah, if you thought Kiki the Extortionist Monkey was bad, no, this Quiver upgrade really puts that to shame.
You are correct.
Also got Desert Palace here for Furaime. Now that we have that book, Desert Palace is a crystal, and we have everything we need to do it. Even HexMage can do this without that fire rod because we do have the lamp.
And in the meantime, we saw all the value in the world on Desert Ledge.
What did we see? I'm not exactly sure what you mean.
Absolutely nothing.
A blank item slot is on Desert Ledge, folks.
Yes, a question mark currently.
But we are finishing up. Oh yeah, because we didn't see it. I get what you mean there. Okay.
But up.
But we're doing pretty good to finish up Desert here. And we are very well equipped to take on Lamolus 1.
HexMage
that'd be very
following
fun.
up. Oh, sorry to cut you off. HexMage following up on the tablets, not a bad strategy.
Yeah, I agree with it a lot. You have that book, you know, your opponent's likely to check them too. HexMage is getting a bit of an advantage on that, but getting the other one's a little more time intensive.
You are correct. And now we're going to see Eastside Death Mountain, because now we have hammer access. And Lamola be going down a little slower than expected, but nonetheless still pretty quickly. And HexMage has got to go fast, running through that spiral cave at the speed of sound. It's got places to go, got to follow its rainbow, all the way to a big 20.
Certainly better than it being a pump cave. Small movement tech optimization you can do that is kind of more common in NMG based on like Link's movement animation and making it go fast. Basically, that's the English version of that. But yeah, I mean, that's what you do without the boots. So we're spared from that today.
And now we're checking Agana's cave. If Agana actually has something that's going to be rather impressive.
Yeah, we've established that it wouldn't have been anything that would have prevented their the Aghanim play that we've made, but we are going to find out that today it is a piece of heart. That's vanilla, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Once again, French vanilla seed. It's not quite, but it's almost vanilla.
We got a paradox cave here giving us some rupees and arrows.
And a bomb upgrade, a big 20, and another big 20. Oof.
And
Man,
if you count the drop,
runners-
that's trips.
Yeah, it is. These runners are not catching a good break today.
So our hook shot seems to be eluding us pretty heavily. You could find it in Swamp Palace. You could find it in Ice Palace. We don't have flute for Misery Mire just yet.
You know,
And
it's
Desert
rather
Pass.
interesting.
Oh, Pyramid
HexMage-
Fairy.
Yeah, not only that, HexMage has actually ignored the idea of going into Dark World Death Mountain.
You know, what's interesting is the last race that I saw, GamerCal versus Samurai Man. GamerCal did the same thing and actually got pretty far into the dungeon, but you know, because usually you need Fire Rod for the right side, but you can sometimes get a small key on the left and progress from there. The problem with that, though, is you need pretty much a certain sequence of keys to happen, and it's kind of rare. So it's possible to find, you know, not the Fire Rod, but, you know, something of value further back and save time because of this.
Ooh, and speaking of value, not a whole lot except a majority of the game's heart containers. HexMage going and opening up Turtle Rock as the first step in going into Dark World Death Mountain. Going to be checking Super Bunny Cave next, and what do we have here today? Oh, it's the hook shot! Oh,
As
that
if
is
to
a
erase all
huge
doubt.
deal.
Well, so I may have been reaching a bit with the hookshot theories. Apologies, folks. I was
mean-
trying to pull you in with some, you know, trolley logic.
It's okay. You had your shot at it. It was a good shot. It
Hey, I was
just didn't
looking
hook
for the-
anyone in.
All right, I'm trying to jump through your puns. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. My timing with that one was relatively awkward.
I should give you an opportunity to bring it back.
No worries. Either way, speaking of no worries, there's also equal amount of value in Hookshot Cave, much to everyone's dismay. And now we're going to be seeing the east side or the west side of Death Mountain. Is there anything that's going to be in value at Spike Cave? We're about to find out. Also, we have officially hit 30 dad jokes.
You know, that's approximately 1 every 2 minutes. I'm still not impressed. You know, with our quantity at this point. There's so much potential here. Squirtle. I mean, ball and chain guard. We can do.
I
this.
mean, to be fair, many of the ones that I have, I cannot say in a family-friendly stream.
Yeah. So in reality, in our heads, about 60 of them.
Heck, man, goes down. Oh, that's right. That's right. The first bottle they picked up had a fairy in it. I kept thinking it was just the bee.
Yeah, the bee was pyramid, but
Oh,
wasting it for
that
20.
is such a not valuable trade. Oof.
Bummer strats in Spike Cave. Also, when it rains, it pours, and when fairies, are gone, you are suddenly very aware of your mortality as a player in this game. And this is Usain Bolt's third cousin, who is also one of the fastest guards in Hyrule.
Meanwhile, we are over in the nice palace. It's a nice palace, despite the fact that it's the ice palace.
You know what's so nice about this palace? You just slide right on through.
Yep, you are right. You can just slide right on through. It's got a lot of good speedrun strats. You don't have to worry as much about running. You just have to slide.
You know, it's one of these dungeons that you really want to practice, though. You don't want to walk in cold.
Unfortunately, Furaime ended up not hitting the spot and getting pushed away from those pegs on the crystal.
Yeah, all those bomb bag upgrades really paying off for us here. I mean, 20 to work with. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot more than the initial 12 you start out with.
Well, HexMage is going to use an entire blue potion prior to using Bombos. I don't know if he had enough to use Bombos originally, but we'll be walking in with full health, which is really nice. And sword beams can be a boon in this dungeon.
What's interesting here is Furaime has the fire rod, while HexMage has the hook shot. So if Furaime isn't too hot on the idea of certain bomb jumps in places that aren't the one standard true bomb jump, this could lead to an interesting predicament where Furaime has to double dip.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that HexMage will have too much trouble having the hook shot. Hook shot's a really powerful weapon in this dungeon. Tons of enemies get one-shotted by it. And then, of course, routing's no longer a concern that you see in Furaime here doing the bomb jump.
Yep. I was going to say, he went right in, so I'm pretty sure that means he is no stranger to that bomb jump.
The key here is you want to line up on the southmost pixel and just place that bomb to the left of you, no problems.
And that was an explosive conclusion. To me, jumping to conclusions.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta cross the gap when, you're looking for ways to get to that next chest, and a bomb, perfectly acceptable means of doing so. Never really intended as a mechanic in the game, but, not exactly discouraged either. A fun fact, though, the restock room in Ganon's Tower is proof positive that the developers intended you to use bonks to cross gaps.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And also hilarious.
Yeah, I have to imagine, somebody did that on accident, crossed a gap somewhere in the game world, and they're like, wait a minute, we could use this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I can't imagine that was can you imagine a design meeting? They're just like, all right, so we're going to have Link when he dashes into a wall, he's going to bounce back, and we're going to use this as a mechanic. No, somebody had to have discovered that accidentally.
By the way, making sure we keep on track, Furaime did pick up Quake.
Huh, so that's all of our medallions. We're no longer concerned at all about, what's going to be the item behind the flute. But getting the flute itself, still an important thing we haven't done yet.
And with the big key confirmed, Furaime is going to be checking one of the last places for the item before heading to that big chest and then ultimately Cold Stare.
There are allegations in chat that you call Cold Stare ice cream vitreous. Is that true?
Oh, God, that story. So, as you've been hearing, I ended up crossing up all of my words. One exceptionally bad time, I was exhausted, and I said vitreous instead of Cold Stare, and the entire stream became a non-stop meme train about calling everything a variation of vitreous. There was ice vitreous, turtle vitreous, rock vitreous, mountain vitreous, let's see, blue pig vitreous.
I mean, everything is eyes in this game, though. I mean, folks, that's actually something that's been talked about a lot in this community, or at least from the NMG side that I've been exposed to. I mean, there's just tons of eyeballs in this game. It's an overused meme. I mean, look at Argus. He may be a pirate, but, you don't need a patch if you only have one central eyeball.
Argus? You mean tentacle vitreous?
Arr.
You figure that's a pirate's favorite letter, but really, it be the sea.
There we go. That's the pun that I signed up for this commentary for. Thank you.
No problem. Oh yeah, Princess Vitreous. Yep. So many eyeballs in every character, or in this case, every boss in this game. You would have thought that the designers would have seen the connection and changed it up a bit.
Well, speaking of not seeing things, Furaime having finished Cold Stare, we did not see how that went down. Presumably capturing them in the corner?
It was pretty smooth in the corner, yeah.
Interesting. Is that a reference to the literal definition of vitreous?
No, actually.
Supposedly, it's like the fluid that surrounds the eyeball.
Huh. That is very interesting.
So technically, that eyeball in Misery Mire is not really the boss.
It's the actual fluid on the floor.
Yeah, that poisonous gelatinous fluid, whatever the heck it may be, that's interesting to say, does do a heart of damage per, damage tick. We have the invincibility frames and then you get hit again, so... I mean, the theory's not broken in my eyes. But looking at Furaime's screen now, we appear to be heading up to the top of Death Mountain.
Also known as Rock Vitreous, yes.
I mean, there are two eyeball shapes there. Oh, we haven't checked either tablet yet.
Yep, Furaime checked Bombos, and now we're checking Ether Tablet because HexMage had actually checked Ether.
In the meantime, HexMage is full clearing Ice Palace by the appearance of it.
I mean, makes sense. When you're panicked, sometimes it's easy to forget how many items you've picked up, so you might just go and do all of them just in case.
Also, Furaime is going towards the Turtle Rock portal. I'm wondering if he's going to find out if his Vitreous is in another rock.
I mean, it's just simple. He's going down to Turtle Rock. Down to Turtle Rock.
That's a reference I don't know. I apologize, but I'm assuming.
How do you not know Fraggle Rock?
That's a tough thing to answer. I'm probably going to get some hate in chat for that.
All around me are familiar faces. Anyways.
I mean, I like that one, though. I mean, well, are we talking about Tears for Fears version, or?
Every version.
Fair. Respected. But so we got a Cold Stare fight coming up ahead for HexMage, which we saw Furaime, well, we sort of saw Furaime do it, but that went pretty well for him. And then Furaime is checking Super Bunny Cave right now.
Where we actually did find the hookshot.
Yeah, so we'll be able to check. Thank you for correcting me before I made the wrong mistake.
No problem.
And we'll be able to check that hookshot cave immediately following.
And just similarly, down goes Cold Stare. And at this point, we have to wonder, are they going to attempt Swamp Palace? Are they going to attempt Turtle Rock?
Well, it's always a tough decision to make. I mean, Turtle Rock could have that flute. Swamp Palace, you prefer to go mode. So, I mean, having the ability to full clear it, I think makes it a better choice. There's a really nice item density, but I would avoid Turtle Rock myself.
Yeah, honestly, Turtle Rock, both go mode, normal completion, and full clear are the same length of time. It's so not worth.
Yeah, we're talking a difference of maybe a room or two, tops.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to find Swamp Palace in the back half, say if you go straight to the back half, you find the flute there, you can just run right straight to the boss and effectively go mode it, at the cost of potentially excluding 2 locations. Also, Swamp Palace appears to be the play for HexMage, and definitely in agreement with it. We'll see pretty quickly what is available to us in Swamp Palace, and I'm very curious to see if we make that gamble for the back half.
Something has been pointed out. It is still possible that Flute could be in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty lousy place for that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I really can't think of any other restrictions on doing exactly that. I mean, pedestal seeming almost kind of likely. If it weren't for so many item checks that we can make still, I would think it's almost certain based on how much the logic seems to be isolating it.
You know what would be terrible? Flute on Trinex.
Flute on Trinex, I think, would be funny because we get some really great reactions from the runners. I have to think.
I mean, we would, yeah. But as someone that also runs it, you gotta imagine. Oof.
Well, HexMage is going to pick up this key that may indicate that we're going straight to the back. Not sure just yet, though. Meanwhile, Furaime has entered Swamp Palace, so hot on HexMage's heels.
And so far, it really hasn't served up a whole lot of anything.
Yeah, they're only treading water, though, as far as the actual completion of this dungeon goes. There's still plenty of locations.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta go with the flow.
Well, I'm hoping that they don't feel drained after leaving this place, because there's still plenty of seed left to go here.
That is very true. Fortunately, it does seem like they are flooded with ideas of where to go after this.
Yeah, certainly a cascade available to us, depending on where we end up finding the flute, for example, may influence, whether we decide to go back into this dungeon, go back up the stairs. Certainly, a torrent of choices available to them.
I mean, the most important thing they need to remember is to not go chasing waterfalls. They need to stick to the rivers they're used to. And the lakes that they're used to be fair. They have dived into both.
Well, they're going to get powder or get nothing at all. Argus didn't really last. Maybe we killed him too fast.
Maybe. Or perhaps not fast enough. How many dad jokes wrapped into a TLC reference? Wow, holy 90s.
Hey, you grew up with the worst of times and with the best of times. You get fun down.
You are correct.
Yes, chat, this is a live stream.
No, it's a randomized stream. We actually are randomized commentators.
Yeah, they just shuffle us around, and sometimes, kind of like how you get a jet seed, sometimes you just get a lot of puns. Congratulations, chat. You tuned into a great cast, apparently.
And what's the last item on... Oh, it's the ice rod. Oh, no.
mean, I'm not saying try next, but I am saying the rod that, you know, HexMage would want to find and could potentially skip the fire rod if the torches on the right side are sufficient, and this could be bad.
All I'm saying is that if you were looking for the item you needed in Swamp Palace, this really just turned out to be a wash.
Yeah, I don't have any more water puns. You know, the balance here, no, I was gonna make a pH scale reference. That's just not gonna work.
It's okay. Sometimes jokes make a splash, and other times no one notices.
Fair enough, fair enough. You know, we're gonna have to face the tide of this carefully.
And I'd say the tides have turned, but in all reality, it seems like Furaime has just been swimming through this seed, and HexMage unfortunately just made the wrong gamble.
Yeah, checking the left side, we'll have to resurface into this dungeon in order to, you know, make sure we got everything. Because at this point, you know, you're an hour and 20 minutes in, you feel like you've done almost everything in the world. Gotta feel a little behind here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, good news for them, though, this game doesn't put them underwater. So they will be able to swim back up and hopefully get a little bit more progression and move on, because that flute is really evading us here.
And 50 dad jokes. Congratulations, we've done it. We've made some people happy and made some people angry, and your anger is delicious.
I mean, salt and vinegar, you know, chips are great. Salty
Oh,
tears,
yeah, they are.
also sufficient. Salt water, topical. You know, it's funny because
Left side really didn't hold a lot.
cutscene. We don't see it in the randomizer, but it feels like we've been in here for a while because I'm running out of puns, and that says something.
I mean, yeah, I know that feeling. Mainly, we're just seeing them go. Oh, that's an interesting way of taking care of that little block area from Furaime. It's a nice little application of the same hookshot block trick.
Ooh, big 20 is all we spent all that time for.
Oof. Not worth the gamble. But in the meantime, I'd like to make sure, as we're continuing onward, to tell you all to show some love to your runners, because they've been busting their butts to make sure you had a great race so far to watch. Also, major thank you and appreciation to Demon's Druid for tracking and making sure to keep us on track when we need either the correct information that we might have missed or a good pun.
Yeah, we've been supplied several of those behind the scenes, so, you know, don't want to, you know, crowd out Demon's Druids for his you know, contributions here. Obviously, it's a team effort here, and we greatly appreciate you keeping us held accountable.
The sum of us make you as mad as all of us. That's not how that saying goes, but you know what I mean.
Wow, I just got a glimpse of the menu from Furaime there, and holy moly, do we have Y item completion in this seed.
Yeah, we are literally missing 3 items. So's HexMage. Oh, that hurts.
Well, we're going into desert at this point. Furaime has already been through all of this, but Furaime is now heading up to Turtle Rock, having pretty much nowhere else to go at this point.
For those playing the home game, Furaime does not have magic powder unless I missed that on his menu. And, once again, Furaime has decided to dive down to Turtle Rock. Down to Turtle Rock.
I hear that's a Fraggle Rock reference.
You are correct, and I will show you the reference later on.
Greatly appreciate it.
It's literally the intro song to the show from like the late 80s.
It was slightly before my time. Well, HexMage only finding the not Sanctuary Heart in the right side of the desert. We saw this earlier with Furaime, but we may have been punning at the time.
I mean, when were we not?
Fair.
Oh, Furaime does have powder. All right, so Furaime is 2 items away from full clearing, or full completing. Wait, no, didn't... No, Furaime also missed a bottle, so... 2 different items, but also missing a bottle.
Yeah, but otherwise, we've really crushed this sea to this point. I mean, for the amount of time they've spent in the sea, they've got a lot done.
Yeah,
still
definitely.
sub 130. So, I mean, how hype would you be if you were in chat right now and we didn't see Flute in Turtle Rock?
I would be immediately confused.
Well, I mean, isn't it
between
obvious?
both of our runners... Oh, you mean Mimic Cave.
Or Pedestal.
Oh, no. They have the book they could have checked all this time.
Well, so I think we found the book after we did Skull Woods, if I recall correctly.
Yes, you are correct. If Flute is on Pedestal...
I mean, both that and Mimic Cave are both very trolly. I'm 100% behind that one as well. Although, what if it was Shovel at Mimic Cave and, you know, we decided to leave?
No, what if it was Shovel at Pedestal and Flute under Dig Spot Vanilla?
Oh,
It's a French
nasty.
vanilla seed, after all.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting, but
And
it's
I
possible.
love it. Well, so we're seeing Silver Arrow strats here for the Lambos 1 fight. HexMage having a little difficulty on that last worm, but should be able to wrap this up no problems. Well, with that barbacoa burrito, HexMage has found everything in Desert and that crystal. So we have just the Flute and Skull Woods before he can make his way into Misery Mire and then Ganon's Tower. So we talked about Mimic Cave. Is this going to be it?
This is the moment of truth.
Do you think it's going to match your expectations?
You know, I have no idea. Although that was a fairy miss, so much for that. Oh, it's 3 bombs! We have Laser Bridge, we have Trinex, and after that, you know what time it is. So, here's the thing. In the event that Flute is connected to Pedestal, this is actually good news for HexMage. Because this still gives HexMage at least the knowledge that they have to clear the rest of the pedestal, or the pendant dungeons, which means he will inevitably... Never mind, he's already going back to Palace of Darkness. Okay, well, he's going to finally find that fire rod. Hey, remember you talking about funny reactions out of their frustration?
Kind of anticipating one, aren't we?
I think we're about to have to call Morton's to deliver all of the salt at a high price. Because there's going to be some high-quality salt coming out of HexMage as soon as he picks up that mixtape rod.
It's very possibility, very much a possibility. You know, releasing his mixtape, kind of a dangerous thing to do. Very fire. However, Helmasaur does drop some fat beats. You have to drop some bombs or hammer hits to finish him off, and of course a silver arrow right to the face. If you go platinum with it, you know he'll back down.
Interesting. Ignores the first chest. Item, a compass. What's in the third one? A key? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God, there's the flute! Flute on Laser Bridge! Furaime is officially in go mode at approximately 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 17 seconds.
Well, so it was troll. It wasn't maximum troll, but I mean, let's be real, folks. It was troll.
This was literally one chest away from being a pedestal seed.
If not, Trinex himself. But that would be all dungeons required, so, you know.
And while it's happening, all res for the Swag Duck tune, the Swag Duck anthem. We're doing. You do you. I'm not your dad. We have it in the John Williams or John Cage 344 edition. But never mind that. As I stuttered, the duck is unstuck. The goose is loose. The fowl is on the prowl.
Yeah, with fast travel, we're also going to set an altitude variable here. Furaime, you saw pick up the rock from the bottom of the rock, and that actually changes where on screen the duck leaves the screen, and this influences something we're going to do later, talking about spooky action at a distance. Ooh, but no such thing as a... oh, you can't do a bird toss, so we have to kill this bird anyway. But so as far as spooky action goes, what we're going to do is we're going to use a mechanic of the game, the way that the game stores information about sprites on screen. Altitude is one of those variables, and each sprite shares a certain slot. We're going to manipulate those slots later, kind of like memory storage, and make the fire rod splash damage do some weird stuff. Well, at this point, this is quite literally the fastest, you know, we're going to try and clear this as quickly as we possibly can here with Misery Mire. I don't know why that word's slipping me. Because we don't need anything else in here.
And we confirmed to have Godmire.
So Furaime has an opportunity to use a spooky action glitch to save approximately 10 seconds if he uses his magic effectively here. We're going to use it in the first dark room that has a crystal switch to hit it from a distance. That value that we set for the bird is what we're storing, so that's like the distance that the fire rod splash damage will go. We'll do it again in the next room to hit a switch through a wall, and then in the room after that to hit a switch through some, you know, of the geometry of the level. It's really interesting to see. You'll see him dash right before he places the block, though, and that's what actually arms the glitch. But I think he may have messed it up, so he's going to try another setup here.
HexMage breaking open into Skull Woods. You know, despite everything, HexMage is not as far off as previously thought. He is technically 2.5 dungeons, though.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. I mean, it's big that he got the fire rod. That's really what's keeping him in this at all at this point, because Furaime has made some really exceptional routing choices. Getting Helmasaur King paid off big time.
And we have actual Vitreous on Furaime's side right now.
Don't you mean Misery Vitreous?
Yes, Misery Vitreous. HexMage is currently fighting Air Vitreous, or Air Vitreous.
Well, that express liner Air Vitreous is going down.
Yeah, I heard it had a nasty crash.
Like a moth to the flame.
Misery Vitreous, the Stephen King villain.
Interesting. Well, so HexMage is going to get this chest that's here in the back half as well. Do you think he's going to check the pedestal at this point?
I don't know, but I'm definitely seeing a lot of people guessing some numbers, which means it must be time for our favorite game. There are 22 item locations over in Ganon's Tower now that we are going to be heading towards it, that Furaime might have to check in order to find the big key before continuing ascending Ganon's Tower. Your job, should you actually decide to go for it, is to guess a number between 1 and 22, and if you are a supporter of the Speed Gaming channels, as in you have given 250 bits or subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels, you can also get your name potentially on the scoreboard in the event that you guess correctly and you were the first to guess that number.
And then, of course, you could be just the closest guess, but we have so many people in here watching. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. That probably won't be the case, but get your guesses in. As soon as we see Squirtle enter the basement of Ganon's Tower, we'll be cutting this off.
So what's your guess going to be?
Well, I'm a true faithful believer in Bob, so 14, if we're going right then left, is going to be my guess today. What about you?
I see you were also a person of culture. I, too, am voting for Bob's torch. Or, sorry, Bob's chest.
Not Bob's torch.
Sorry, Bob's torch was a different thing from previous race where we had a bootless race and we were worried that it was going to be on the torch.
You murderer.
Yeah, you know.
But that would be chest number 3 if we end up going right.
No, but I do actually also mean Bob's chest.
So that's 2 chests so far that we've checked, and we're gonna go full right because we do have that key. Well, the right side's considered a little more challenging. Some of these puzzles are part of the reason why.
True. But nonetheless, still worth it. Ooh, Furaime not having the right thing equipped, while also red, not exactly the Cane of Samaria. Ooh, doing what I like to call the Christos Owen kick.
Yeah, kick is up and it's through the uprights.
Yeah, ole, indeed.
I believe that is 6 items so far then?
You are correct.
Well, we're going to mirror out after that. We do have the key that we're going to pick up from here. If we wanted to go all the way to Ice Armos, we would be going that route. But we're not going full right because there are 4 chests to check here on the left,
And
followed
number
by a couple
7,
more individuals.
oh, Rip Bob, number 7 is a small key.
In memoriam, Bob, on this day, the 15th of June, we lost a dearly departed member of the family.
An angel. Sorry, I was providing the background music.
No, it's okay. It was an eulogy. It was sad. It was somber. We'll remember you, Bob. Hopefully, we'll powder the imposter.
For the price of 1 race a day, you too can remember Bob. So, by the way, we do have the Butter Sword now.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not Bob, though. Rip. Well, with that, though, Butter Sword and Fire Shield as well, Furaime has picked up that, and that should be chest number 12?
And Boomerang Strat number 1, HexMage goes down. Does not have the fairy. That is unfortunate, to say the least. Oh, right, I'm sorry. That's not the Butter Sword. Throwback to earlier, it's the American Vanilla Sword.
Yes.
This is a French Vanilla Seed. That was an American Vanilla Sword.
Shout out to chat keeping us, accountable for what we said earlier. You guys are really tuned in and dialed in. This is clearly an entertaining race on the runner's perspective, if nothing else. So I'm losing track of how many chests this has been. There's 6 on the right, 4, 5, 6. I'm glad they haven't found it yet, because I would be wrong about that number if I was, pressured to guess right now.
I believe that was number 17, and we're about to have 18 at Bob's chest. Right,
yes,
Bob?
That's correct. Yeah, because then we'll have the one at Tile Room, which is still a possibility. It's on the table, folks.
I don't have words, but apparently I got my numbers right this time.
Well, in memoriam, Bob, the imposter is going to give us a shovel today. Shooting.
Oh, fetch quest. Big key actually in shovel location.
Perhaps Bob dug his own grave. Sorry to be so morbid, I just missed the guy already.
$19. Oh, and number 20 it is. So, if you guessed number 20, then congratulations to you, Daskunen. Daskunen. I switched the H and the N. That's my confusion. And on the leaderboard with 11 wins so far, Alpha Channel, just wow, that's a lot.
We need to have a big key guessing game interview with that man. Ask him how it is that he's guessed correctly with a approximately 4% chance of being right 11 times.
Probably watches every single race.
A distinct possibility. Multi-Twitch strength really coming through there. But Furaime, despite having a brief hiccup in Ganon Ball Z, survives to the next episode. I'll see if he can charge up this tower. Might take a while, though. Could be like a bunch of episodes.
I mean, what else is the Gauntlet other than filler episodes?
You're not wrong about that, and they do get progressively more interesting, unlike filler episodes, though. We add a different mechanic every single room, so the first room is conveyor belts, second room is, with extra spikes in the room, now we have ice physics, and now no conveyor belts, just straight slippery floors.
Yep, then we're going to have the hallway, and that's going to lead to Lamolus Beach episode.
Yeah, change of scenery. We also have this really annoying statue in the corner that says, "I hope you have fire shield." Might be 2 cycles, but it's over with. Pretty clean wrap up of that fight. To answer a question in chat from Tadaru, I believe this leaderboard is reset every tournament. I don't think that's carried over from other tournaments. There'd be too many people on that list. Moving forward, though, HexMage about to find that flute. We'll see if we get any kind of major reaction here. The save quit is, yep, coming. That's a nice thing, though. If you save and quit out of the situation, you can save face, not have like a million rage slashes like I've done in my races. And you can also, like, you know, pretend to throw your controller off screen. Very handy.
Oh, Furaime has to be a little careful with those 2.5 hearts.
Yep, we'll be in good shape if we can get to this next room where we can powder some fairies, but having a little trouble with this bomb.
Oof. And we're good.
Full health,
Furaime.
full magic, and we've equipped to the hookshot.
Furaime foregoing the second to last chest and is taking down Trolldorn 2, Troll with a Vengeance. And we're gonna see if he opens up the chest that has had many names, but I like to call Jerry. Jerry had 300 rupees.
Yeah, that's 15 times better than his vanilla counterpart.
That is very true. Did we
Now,
ever have a catfish check? Yes, we did. It had a heart container.
Yeah, unfortunately, no cash fish today. But now it's time for another. Well, so the Profe gamer out there, fellow commentator, gave us a really great name, Trigonometry.
Trigonometry. I like it.
Because geometry just isn't, you know, angular enough. And that's a great 3 cycle.
Wow. And it is time for us to go and stick it to the big pig.
So is it a man bear? Is it a bear pig? Half man bear, half bear pig? I mean, what's going on here?
What it really is just mediocre coding.
Today I learned. For this fight, though.
And our pun of the day sure was...
Something?
Yep. I was just ending my sentence, that sure was. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. According to recent meme dark lore, this is also Final Vitreous that Furaime is fighting.
Makes enough sense to me.
Everything is
also
Vitreous.
You could also call him Trident Vitreous, not Victorious.
Ah, yeah, Trident Vitreous. But then he'd be more like gum.
Yeah, that is a legit hole in that theory. You raise a good point.
Did you find the arrows in the digging game? Why, perhaps. Taste these skewers, my friend.
I mean, at that point, it becomes something of a dirty bomb. We just nuked him 4 times in the face, and that's it.
And the pig roast has been completed. Furaime taking down Ganon. And walks right on through that door for roughly 1:48:10. Why don't you give us that official time?
Absolutely. Actually, you have that completely right. It's 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 10 seconds officially on Speed Racing TV.
Whew,
GG.
man, my guessing was good there. Sub 150 is a pretty good race for nearly a full 100% game. Throw those GGs in chat, and also, once again, make sure you go and give some love to our runners. They really have been busting their butts to make sure you had an entertaining race, and an entertaining race this was.
Yeah, I'm going to echo and, well, I can't magnify it any more than you're saying it, because it really was really entertaining and exciting to watch. And this is just game 1 of their series, folks. Keep in mind, they still have potentially 2 more games. Their next one, I'm not sure when it's going to be scheduled. We'll try and get Furaime or HexMage in here for an interview when we're able to. But maybe they'll be able to shed some light on that.
Furaime in chat specifically wanted to say that their stream is not lagging. I believe it.
Yeah, sometimes Twitch can be kind of weird with a bunch of different things server side. So I mean, even if one person's feed looks great, sometimes it just on the restream doesn't come out perfectly. Bear with us, there's a lot of moving parts here. But we were able to see the important things. Furaime doing a really great job to really crush this seed that was a pretty frustrating seed, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like Furaime is going to decline an interview, which I just noticed. So we'll continue to cheer on, of course, HexMage, and I believe we saw him in chat. So if you have any questions for Furaime, feel free to ask him directly in chat. I'm sure he's willing to answer any.
I have to say, the big difference between HexMage and Furaime right now is that Furaime ended up going and defeating King Helmasaur first, when HexMage went, against fighting King Helmasaur, which is not a bad call. It was basically a 50-50 on the remaining item. There was no guarantee it was going to be anything huge. But nonetheless, unfortunately, sometimes you take a chance in a randomizer, and that chance turns out to be what you needed to do.
All right, well, with that, HexMage is heading towards Turtle Rock now, or at least the portal here, making his way towards Ganon's Tower.
Hey chat, how many chests do you think HexMage is going to go through first before getting to the big key? Is he going to go right side? Is he going to go left side? Is he going to go right side into the Armos Knights? Is he going to go right then left? It's time for you to figure that out on your own, because I'm not going to be able to guarantee anything.
Yeah,
we got people already guessing numbers again. Perfect. These ones do not count, by the way. This is all just for kicks.
Alrighty, well, there goes Bob. Bob has left the neighborhood. Yeah, so it's looking like HexMage is going right-left here instead of what Furaime did, which is full right for those chests. So it's going to be significantly faster to find the big key at this point, assuming that we go all the way through Ice Armos and don't mirror out from the left side.
Considering that he's fighting the skeletons, it's most likely he's going to go full left at this point. And, yep, there is a possibility after that you could have checked the 4 chest and gone full right afterwards, which would have been considered, if I'm not mistaken, Dark Magician strats. But in this case, nope, none happening.
Yeah, Ganon's Tower is a really interesting part of the randomizer. Historically speaking, there have been a lot of different approaches that people have taken. Dark Magician, a strategy well known for checking those 2 on the right and then going full left. Or maybe I'm mixing that up. Is it left and then right? Yeah, it's left then right.
Oh, it's left then right. I see. I always thought it was right, left, right.
I could still be wrong about that. It's a strat that I don't really use myself. I usually just go right, left.
It's been a very long time since I've seen the strat, so I could be entirely mistaken.
Nevertheless, though, we are going to climb the tower and finish up the pig. HexMage is pretty well equipped to do so, just like Furaime was, with the exception of the shovel, which we will find, actually, I believe, because it's at Bob's chest. Has basically the exact same inventory. You know, we haven't seen it yet, but I get the feeling we're going to have a monstrously large collection raid in this seed.
Yeah, I'm going to say over 190, probably mid 2 to 210, like 206.
That's a lot. I've always seen it seem to come up a little lower, so I want to say that, you know, small keys are possibly part of that, and we may have missed some of those. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking it's close to
total at 210, or is it total at over 210? I can't remember.
I think it's over 210, 216, I believe.
216. Okay, then I'm gonna go 205, 200 to 205.
Well, ambitious numbers. 19 bonks today for Furaime. Interestingly low for how early we had boots. Speaks to some pretty good precise movement. Definitely good to see. So this stat screen.
Oh wow!
You know, 176. Wow.
176. Yo, kudos. 176 and 146 is pretty impressive.
Well, HexMage, becoming the mass murderer, already killed Bob and destroys the other anti-fairy that replaced him. Really has prejudice against that particular sprite. We're going to see Silver Arrow strats for Armless too, though, and this is going to be a pretty quick fight. So if we're going traditional number counting, this is chest 16, I believe.
Yep. You are correct. Or was that?
But I'm not right side.
No, it's 15 because it would be 16 after that one. And then you have the 4 on the right that weren't touched, and then you have the last one being tile. You know, I wonder if half magic was actually in tile room.
You know, I mean, it's definitely possible. And there were some chests that I think we skipped on the way up, like mini Helmasaur room chests, so could also be there.
Oh, that's true.
Well, the last couple of mimics in the game that we have to take care of. Thank goodness. Good riddance.
Indeed. But yeah, just to make sure I say it once again, make sure you follow the racers as well as the speed gaming channels 1 through 6, or rather speed gaming 2 through 6. And in the event that you see cool stuff on there, but you're still in that much of a randomizer kick for Link to the Past randomizer, fear not. We also have ALTTP Randomania and our randomizer, and then also that 2 through 4. So even if we're not on speed gaming, you could definitely find us at our own Twitch channels.
And actually, hey, you know what? There's been a debut today, and in 8 minutes from now, actually, on ALTTP Randomizer 5, the newest channel.
Nani?
Yes. We have Giselle Schaft versus TGH, I believe.
Oh, that's good. That's a good series. All right, so HexMage has definitely gotta be done in 1 minute so we can interview him and then immediately swoosh on over to that, because that's going to be one interesting race. But stay tuned, because even if we go a little longer than that, I am making sure to stay here, because I'm not going to ruin the chance of HexMage being able to talk about this seed, because that'd just be super rude.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on the agenda for us to talk about with this race, but as far as
you are correct.
Other races going on today, though, stuff that you guys may also be interested in tuning into. Actually, the next few races are all on ALTTP Randomizer channels. At 7:30, we also have Wolfie versus I'm the Shorts at ALTTP Randomizer. At 8 p.m., ALTTP Randomizer 2 will be Thalane versus Korek, and there's actually a Spanish stream of this at
Nice.
Speed Gaming Espanol. which is the first that we're doing in that language. Really excited to see that. If you speak Spanish, go check it out.
Yo, also, shout-outs to all of our other recasters that are commentating in other languages, so that way we're getting everything covered. Yo, I appreciate you. I may not speak another language, but I do appreciate the heck out of making sure to include as many people as possible.
Yeah, and folks, if you have a penchant for that, if you are good at languages and linguistics, by all means, give it a shot. Always looking for people. I would inquire maybe with like the Speed Gaming Discord. Talk to moderators there. Probably the best way to figure out where the best volunteer access link is, because I'm not sure exactly how that all works. I don't represent Speed Gaming or anything specifically.
If they need someone fluent in gibberish, they got me.
I've got you on word soup. As for Spanish, I might need to brush up with Rosetta Stone.
Right.
Beyond that, though, looking at the schedule, we have 8 p.m. matches. We have 8:15 and 11:30 to finish out the night. That'll be the last one, and it'll be Speed Gaming, JTP versus Chex Human. Tomorrow, it's looking packed. It is all day start from...
Oh, no. HexMage getting blocked on the last fire shot has to go back down. Not the worst thing to happen, but definitely frustrating. You can imagine the tilt is real.
Yeah, I would definitely feel that way. Oh, interestingly enough, our tracker Demons Druid, thanks again for checking up on this information. Our game 2 for this series that we're watching right now is going to be Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time.
So if you want to see HexMage have a chance at making sure to get back at the previous seed for these shenanigans, you want to be there for Sunday at 2:30 p.m. That is 2:30 p.m. EST, also known as +5 GMT. If you're... Oh, and how the mighty have fallen. Suddenly, HexMage goes down to Troll Dorm 2, but he gets back up again because you're never going to keep him down.
He gets knocked down, but he's going to get back up again. You're never going to keep him down. Well, so punting the night away aside, HexMage, obviously does have Game 2 to look forward to and looking to extend this series. If we can get it to a Game 3, that's more stuff for us to commentate. I'd really love to. These are really entertaining racers to watch. And I'm sure that they're going to put on just as great of a show next time as well.
Oh, no doubt about that.
That is one of the nice things about our brackets, is that best of 3 gives our runners a chance to learn from their first match, to try to adapt to their opponent, and maybe even metagame over the course of the series. Well, Furaime had a nice 3 cycle here. That's still on the table for HexMage, having pulled off a double-double so far.
To clarify, when I was talking about time zones, actually, from what I'm saying, it's GMT -5. I keep forgetting that I'm explaining this to an audience that isn't just in the US, so I went on that basis.
Hey, I've definitely been there. That's a pretty big country, though. I mean, we have a lot of time zones, and a lot of places only have like 1 or 2.
True. In the meantime, HexMage is now going and taking care of the big pig. The Hempitera, True Order of Bugs and Insects that lived. You nailed it. You got it, champ. Discovery Channel.
Hey, fun facts with Ganon. He may be a man-bear pig, but he will tell you about the various orders and nomenclatures for insects. So that's pretty interesting.
He'll also tell you various slug facts, which is super interesting if you like slugs.
Yes, the chat's reminding us this is actually pig vitreous.
Yes. Oh, I feel like I'm not going to hear the end of this one for a while.
Well, if your name was Metatron, it would be the 5-dig meme. So, I mean, you've definitely plenty of, life behind the memes in this community. Just don't use the shovel 5 times to get the flute. Thankfully, she doesn't really watch Randomizer, so I don't think she's ever going to hear me joke about it.
HexMage with 1 heart. narrowly getting that swipe in before the animation started for the fire. But that one arrow was all that was needed. And now, HexMage has officially stuck it to the big pig. And has finished at approximately 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 38 seconds.
Yep, his official time only just 2 seconds beyond that at 2:04:40. So with that, the race is completed. GG's in the chat, and we'll bring HexMage in for an interview shortly.
Absolutely. Wow, this seed sure has been something.
And it looks like we are joined by HexMage. GG and congratulations on finishing the seed.
GG. That was an awful seed.
Yeah, I'd say congratulations, but I don't want to seem like I'm saying congratulations on losing as much as congratulations on surviving that clown fiesta of a seed.
Yeah, I think I had everything except the shuffle going into GT.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
and
much.
butter.
That, and we have no idea where half magic is.
Is it in purple chest maybe? Laser bridge?
Maybe?
Trinix?
I think Furaime went to purple chest though.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I was playing at
Yeah.
the time.
No worries. You basically both did skip a majority of the same chests, but they were all at the end of GT.
Yeah, it's probably Furaime went for Helmstorf earlier than I did, and probably GT earlier than I did.
I mean,
That's exactly it.
Turtle Rock,
technically, yes, but Turtle Rock was left mostly towards the end. At that point, he only had Misery Mire left. Furaime did opt to take care of King Helmasaur earlier, though.
Yeah, that would save some time.
Yeah, which, to be fair, you had every right in the world to go, that might not be an item I need. Why am I going to waste that time on a boss?
Exactly what I thought.
And unfortunately, the randomizer logic just decided, oh, it's funny you think that. Fire rod.
Yeah, but it didn't help that the other item was all the way in the back of Turtle Rock. I had literally purple chest and
Oh.
Turtle Rock left.
Yeah, flute. Oh, that was so rude. We were actually really worried for a little while that it was actually going to be nothing, and you were going to have to actually clear all the dungeons to get Shovel on pedestal, to then get flute in vanilla spot, because there were so many things that were almost entirely vanilla. The Moon Pearl, the hammer. So we figured maybe this would be a quote-unquote French vanilla seed, where that would end up happening, but it would be Master Shovel instead of Master Sword.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm looking forward to, because that's obviously just the first of a series of potentially 3 races. I want to say this seems like you got randoed in a sense. I mean, is this match impacting, your planning or any decision making you might make in your next race?
I think Furaime is slightly better than I am. But if my execution is on point, I should be able to beat him. But it's gonna be a tough Sunday regardless.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, it's 2:30 p.m. Eastern time Sunday. Your guys' game 2 is?
Yeah. 2:30 and the next one is at 5. Assuming I win the first one.
Hey, you can always hope for a game 3 if you're in the audience, if you're in the commentators, cast and couch. You obviously always want to see a game 3 because it's, more randomizer, right? But I mean, you're against a very capable opponent. Everybody in this bracket is, after all, having emerged. Well, I think almost everybody who's left is 5-2 and up. So very exciting to see all this go down. And I have a lot of faith based on what I saw today that both of you are able to contend with each other here.
Yeah, should be a good game 2 and 3. Assuming I get to 3.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing them.
Do you have any
Also-
other thoughts on the seed?
Well, Back of Escape was crazy.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And both Hype Cave and Paradox Cave were absolutely worthless.
Yep. Well, almost. Hype Cave did have Bombos, which you needed for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, true.
But aside from that, it was pretty worthless.
Yeah, which normally isn't the case. I was actually wondering where the hell are all my items?
Right?
Why do I have the bottom row and nothing else?
Why did you put such a valuable item at the beginning of Laser Bridge? Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
well.
rapidly approaching a point where we thought it was going to be Pedestal Flute. It ended up just being Couch Cash, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did check that. Yeah, other than that, it was just an annoying seed. Could have been way faster if just one of those other items was slightly earlier in the seed.
Yeah, for sure.
Because all 3 pendant dungeons were required, which is also
Yep.
quite rare. And it was an Aghanim seed.
It was very reminiscent of a combination of version 26 and version 18, where you needed to go through Aghanim, but also, like version 26, you had to dig through pendant dungeons rather, because go figure, there's going to be something important there.
Well, normally there is something important in a pendant dungeon, but just in one, not in all 3 of them.
Yep, that is true.
Oh well. I'll get him Sunday. Just you wait.
That's what we'd like to hear. We're going to be looking forward to seeing that on Sunday.
I mean, hey, everything's coming up HexMage.
Well, that's the plan. Currently it's...
Go ahead.
No, currently it's not coming up at HexMage. Sunday it will be.
There you go.
Absolutely. And we actually have Furaime in chat asking the question, did he get a bomb? HexMage did not find a bomb in Escape, did you? Or no?
No.
Yeah, both of you came back afterwards.
I don't think anything in there dropped bombs. I killed like 20 enemies.
Yeah, there was like, I think, a collection of rats in that first sewer room, and you actually pretty much got
Cleared
all of
those
them
out?
with one
Yeah.
block.
You both went through your Hyrule extermination services, and none of them turned up with a bomb.
Which is quite rare. Normally something has a bomb in there.
Yeah, usually.
But at least
Right.
I had enough money coming out of there to know I could go back there easily with a bomb.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing too. We started with 300 rupees in the uncle's house. I mean, it was a rich seed to start, and we stayed that way for a pretty long time.
Yeah, it just was slightly not rich enough to actually do Zora on the first pass.
True. Although, as we found out, it really wasn't worth much anyhow.
No, but I did check it anyway.
Oh, of course, because go figure, the one thing you don't check is going to have it.
Of course
Because,
it is.
of course.
Oh wow. So as far as collection rate goes, both of you are only 4 items apart. I mean, that's like, and to go over 170, that's really impressive.
Yeah, that just means the seed is horrible if it's above like 150.
Yeah.
Precisely.
All right.
Well-
and with that, do you have any last words on today's race?
No, today's race, I just hope I can forget it soon, and then I'll try and win Sunday's races.
You know, that's not a bad plan.
Yeah, short memory is really good. You have to forget the old item locations just so you don't confuse yourself, and then of course, try and keep yourself focused on the positive, which is what's going to win your races. So we're excited to see your next race. It was a pleasure today to commentate on this race, and want to thank Glenty for joining me on the mic. Not making me force me to go to solo, and then of course Demon's Druid for doing our tracking today.
Hey, by all means, thank you both. And just to further the sentiment, make sure you give some love and some follows to not only Speed Gaming and ALTTPR Randomizer. Make sure you also give some love to your your runners, because they did really bust their butts going through this seed today. And, you're going to see a lot more goodness coming from them for not only Link to the Past Randomizer, but any other potential speedruns or anything else in the future. As well as Demon's Druid, thank you once again for making sure that we were on track, along with you keeping on track of the tracker. Say that 4 times fast, you.
I can't. But we also, of course, want to thank all of you for tuning in. There are plenty of other randomizer matches to watch tonight, and keep an eye up on that schedule. It's going to be filled in constantly with this tournament going on for the foreseeable future. I think we're probably going to have some kind of break for GDQ or something, but details on that to follow. I'm not an authoritative source on that. But that's pretty much it for us here today.
Indeed. Definitely keep up in the Discord, because you'll get any more information on that later. And hi, I'm Glentai, and we will see you very shortly on ALTTP Randomizer 5.
Yep, and I've been Uday Mystic. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and see you next mission.